right, check, 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 check. Let's go ahead and get this show on the road. So glad to have you here today. Thank you, Christy. I'm going to take a couple of them just in case. I'll take three. The first one up there. All right, glad to have everybody here today. We are blessed to be here. I always remind everybody we're just a few blocks removed from being in one of the many outstanding hospitals that are here in Little Rock. And so we need to appreciate our blessings and be appreciative of that and be thankful for the friends that are around us. And glad to be here. For you Arkansas State fans, is it not a great day today to be here after maybe one of the most craziest endings to a game I've ever seen? Man, thank goodness people don't play great defense anymore. I'm telling you what. I'm telling you, listen, Coach, you made their defense, Texas State defense, look like they've never played defense before, that they didn't know what to do, so that was exciting. But we were pulling for you. I'm glad to have you here today. Appreciate it. The 8th meeting of the year this week, or this year rather. Great to have Butch Jones here. Listen, we got obviously a lot of Arkansas State flavoring here today. We're glad to have you guys every year and ladies here every year. A couple things. For those of you that were here last week, did you enjoy Craig James? I thought he was outstanding, really a class act. Really a great guy. Next week we have Nathan Brown, UCA. Glad they won this week. I'm sure Rex will be telling us about that. Then 2 weeks from then, and then we've got Kelly Finglass, who Butch is the director of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. And crazy it is, she has sold more tickets than Lawrence Taylor. I'm not joking, Coach. One of the greatest players of all time, Kelly Finglass. We have a waiting list to see Kelly Finglass. Now here's the deal. If you're listening out there watching, we're going to be meeting at the Marriott the next 2 weeks because of a conflict here. Nathan will be here next week. But those two meetings with Holly Rowe, it will be Kelly Finglass, and Holly Rowe will be over at the Marriott. So it's a little bit more parking, a little bit more of a challenge to park. But so that meeting is sold out. There you go. So just plan accordingly. Just add some more time. If you've got tickets to Kelly Finglass, if you want to park here or wherever, it's just going to take a little bit more time. And, of course, Holly Rowe, who is the hardest working reporter, Coach Butch, I know you know who Holly Rowe is. Got knocked over. I saw her. She got bowled over. She popped right back up. Truly probably the premier sideline reporter in college football today. So you got those both back-to-back rather. And if you want to get tickets for Kelly, you can go to the reserve in-line waiting if we have any cancellations. So anyway, so it was an exciting time. Listen, exciting. I'm so glad that we had a nice little reprieve this week from Razorback football. We all needed it. Which is good. And so we'll jump back in the fire this week by going to Knoxville. We'll hear Rex talk about that. Let's figure out our pop-up winner. Rockstar Passes designed our Butch Jones pop-up here. Let's see. The winner is 041929. 041929. 041929. Congratulations. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you so much. Also, Anita, if you could pop up that QR code. We're a little behind the scene, behind the times this year. So we've got some really cool T-shirts, sports, sweatshirts, all these things, Little Rock Touchdown Club. Thanks to Steve Qualls with the Design Lab. If you'll hold your phone up and just scan that real quick, just hold your phone up. It will show you where, if you want to get T-shirts, if you want to get sweatshirts, whatever, Touchdown Club, or you can just go to Design Labs or go to our Touchdown Club website. You'll see the link on there. Some really cool shirts. Matter of fact, the ladies will be wearing, because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month here in October, they'll be wearing their pink T-shirts next week. So we're excited about that. Thanks to Steve Qualls at Design Labs for doing that. This time, if we could, let's bring up the official pastor of the Touchdown Club. He is the head pastor of Pinnacle Church of Christ, Chuck Monan, the pigskin preacher, everybody.
For those of you looking for a place to go on vacation in the summer, on the east side of Lake Michigan is a lovely little village called Saugatuck. It is an artiste community. It's where all the hipsters hang out. And our speaker, Coach Butch Jones, the head ball coach up at Jonesboro, is the second most famous person from Saugatuck. Does anyone know the first? No, not me. That's where all the hipsters hang out. I was on the east side of the state where the blue-collar gritty guys are from. Pope Leo the 14th,
wow.
the current pope. Wow. So we got Coach Jones and the Pope. And because of obviously sins in another life, Baz, you're stuck with me. So there you go. Let's pray together. Father, we're thankful for the time together. We're thankful that Coach could be with us. We pray your blessings on him and his family and his team. We're thankful for the good work that continues to go in Jonesboro. We're grateful for the food and for all the good things you bring into our lives. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Chuck, what is, I was just looking, so I have the Brules Award, which is in year number 30, the top assistant coach in America.
Yes.
What is your deal here?
I stole it from that little guy that played Harry Potter. That's what this is.
Okay, I wasn't sure what it was. Wasn't sure what it was. Do want to thank all of you who have sponsored, who have bought memberships. Thank you so much. We can't do it without you. All the 50-yard line members and regular members, thank you so much. Make sure and mute your phone, if you will. We've had a little bit of issues the last few weeks where phones are going off. You can watch online. Arkansas PBS is back here doing a great production. You can watch it on their stream, the Touchdown Club YouTube page, Facebook, Twitter, all of our platforms, lrtouchdown.com. You can also listen to us on 103.7 The Buzz. You can hear Coach all those different platforms, so take advantage of that just if you can. Mute your phone. I do want to thank all of our sponsors real briefly. Simmons Bank, 122 years old, representing the Jonesboro area, Derek Bowman. Derek, great to have you here. Thanks so much. We appreciate you. And the new athletic director up here next to Derek is Chris Pesman. Well, I'll reintroduce you, Chris, here in just a second. Glad to have you up on stage. Don't forget, you've got the Simmons Bank Championship, October 20th through the 26th. That's right around the corner. Make sure you make plans to go be a part of that. It was amazing last year. It'll be amazing this year. Stevens, Inc., of course, you know, Warren Simpson, Curtis Jeffries, Kurt Bradbury, Brad Eichler, all the gang. We appreciate them. Philip Butterfield is around here somewhere. He's a Stevens guy. There he is right there. A YSU guy right there. Lake Hamilton? Lake Hamilton. You still hold all the records? Maybe. Claim it. Claim it as long as you can, Philip. But appreciate Stevens. Thanks so much. Crane Automotive, Christian Crane, Chris Kane, Larry Kane Jr., all the great folks over here. Appreciate you guys being here every week. Y'all are always great to see y'all's faces here as part of our meetings each week. Wright, Lindsay, and Jennings, 125 years here in this state, doing amazing things. Appreciate Judy Henry, Charlie Coleman, Antoine Phillips, all the gang. Appreciate them sponsoring the Cliff Harris Award. Kyle Duggar, who was with the Patriots, still playing. A lot of trade rumors for him. But anyway, if there would be no Cliff Harris Award, if not Wright, Lindsay, and Jenny, we appreciate them. Oaklawn Sports, we appreciate Oaklawn Sports. I bounced back, Rex. I was 4-1 in college. I was 2-2 because those darn Eagles went to sleep in the fourth quarter. I'm so mad at them. You're up 17-3 against the Broncos. You just quit playing, and the Broncos come back and beat you. But anyways, I'm having so much fun. Again, my third year with the Oaklawn Sports app. Download it today and have some fun. Bet against me if you will. I'm getting better each week, though. Just want to say that. Summerwood Sports, the Hendricks family. Great to see the Hendricks family here today. Worcester is the next stop for Family Market, of course. But if you want to have a great place to go play basketball, coach, camps, you name it, it is an amazing facility. It's one of the nicest in the South, not just in Arkansas, 40,000 square feet. We appreciate Summerwood Sports. Check them out today. Double B, Steve Lytle and Ed Light, we appreciate them. Family-owned convenience store, been around forever, 34 locations. Gas it, grab it, go. Thank you to them. Sissy's Log Cabin, 54 years for them. Bill and Sherry Jones, thanks so much for your passion for the state of Arkansas. We appreciate them. Roller Funeral Homes, Renata Jenkins Byler, thank you so much, Renata and Bill. I see you over there today. Great to have you guys here. 24 locations across the state. The Hatcher Agency, Hatcher Capital Investment, Scoops, Twin City Limo, Finish Line RV. Of course, you know, we've got a great connection with Arkansas State here. You know, Greg's son, Lane, is the third all-time leading touchdown passer in the history of the Sun Belt. The third all-time, and that's worth a round of applause for Lane Hatcher. Coach, the reason he's not here, he got married this past weekend. Got married to Morgan, and so anyway, congratulations, Greg. You got another one married off. All your kids are married off now, and good. But and also, I know Jacob Steele is over here. Jacob, I think you in your career, 53 starts. 53 starts. Give it up for Jacob Steele, offensive lineman at Arkansas State. So a great Arkansas connection there. And there's one other guest that I'm going to mention a little bit later. Hatcher Capital Investment, Scoops Ice Cream, Twin City Limo, Finish Line RV. Greg, thanks so much for all you do to support the Touchdown Club. Advantage Service Company, Kevin Brooks, we appreciate you. One Call does it all. Residential, commercial sales for especially HVAC, electrical needs. It's getting that time of the year where if you have an issue, now's the time to get that thing checked up. So Advantage Service Company is great. They're so responsive. Appreciate them being a sponsor of the Touchdown Club for many years. Simmons Bank Arena, Michael Marion, Janitor George. You know, I'll tell you, Mississippi State is a better team than what we thought. So Michael Marion should be very happy. They hung around with A&M for a while. That's going to be a much more challenge than I think what we want. Levy is doing a good job at Mississippi State, but thanks to Simmons Bank Arena for their great sponsorship. Pulaski County Farm Bureau, Todd Dennis, and Stephen Reichert, thanks so much for your support of the Touchdown Club. Been doing it for 8 decades here in Pulaski County. War Memorial Stadium, John Latch, Mark Pike, Kevin Crash, Shay Lewis, thank you so much for your support. 76 years for them. Our media sponsors, the Arkansas Democrat Gazette, will have our All Arkansas Preps Player of the Week. Unbelievable running back today. The numbers are impressive as always, thanks to Amanda Copley and Wally Hall. 103.7 The Buzz. I know that Butch was on with DJ and Justin a few minutes ago. I got my man Roger Scott here with us today. We're going to have a lot of fun. Just think about this tomorrow. Tomorrow we have Roger. We have Terry Bradshaw tomorrow, John Daly tomorrow, Darren McFadden Wednesday or Thursday, Dan Hampton, Mark May. These are all folks that appear on the Morning Mayhem show. Walt Coleman, one of the great referees in the history of the game. So we're really appreciative to all you who listen to the Buzz, and especially Morning Mayhem. Thanks so much. AY Media, AY Magazine, Arkansas Money and Politics, Heather Baker. This is the latest edition of About You, AY Magazine, and can't wait to see Kelly Finglass's cover feature coming out probably, one week, Heather? She doesn't do many of these, but we had Jimmy Johnson on the cover, and we're going to have Kelly Finglass on the cover. So, Coach, this Kelly Finglass thing is crazy, man. This Netflix thing, and I got to give my girlfriend Jessica, she said, hey, David, you should consider Kelly Finglass. And I watched all 8 episodes, and I'm going to tell you, she was as expensive as Lawrence Taylor to bring in here. It was tough for me to say yes, but we're going to do it. And you know what? Sold out. How about that? Anyway, yes, thank you to AY and Heather and Ant Magazine for their support. Arkansas PBS, so good up back there. Anita, Brian, Kevin, Tanisha, thanks so much for all you do. It's the best in the country. Nobody better than Arkansas PBS, what we do. Nobody does what we do each week like they do. JF Media and Marketing, Alicia Dover, Jeremy Flynn. Coach, we've had millions of people that have viewed what happens here in this room. Millions. Probably, it was 12 million last year. We may have, with what Hunter Yurchek said recently and others, we probably 10, 12 million now. By himself. By himself. So be careful. No, I'm just joking. I'm kidding. But thanks to Alicia and JF Media and Marketing. The Doubletree Hotel, Tiffany, Nita, Angel, Mark, thanks so much. You're the best. Sunbelt Convention Services, Tim Glasscock. Rockstar Passes, Brad Rickett and Joey Gonzalez, appreciate you. And our 3 new sponsors this year, Midtown Plumbing, Haley and Jim Coleman and Kyle Jackson, thanks so much. They started back with only 2 employees. They're great people. Make sure and check them out for all your plumbing needs. Arkansas Surgical Hospital, appreciate them. 41 private patient suites, 13 state-of-the-art operating rooms. If you're having surgery, say, I want to go to Arkansas Surgical Hospital. And, of course, last but not least, our last new sponsor, Arkansas Spine and Pain, Dr. Amir Qureshi, Scott Davis, great doctors, 6 different cities, Benton, Jacksonville, Conway, Little Rock, Searcy. Appreciate them. A round of applause for the best sponsors we have in America. Nobody has better sponsors than us. Nobody has better sponsors, Chris Kane. Nobody. We're the best. Don't come poaching our sponsors here at Arkansas State. We're going to fight for you. Our Touchdown Club team, Dwayne Duncan, Chris Kane, RJ Hawk, Steve Sullivan, Steve Qualls, Design Labs, Davis Ford. Appreciate all the work that all those folks put into our club and our amazing volunteer team. Coach, we have about 20 men and women who volunteer every week. We couldn't do it without them. when you bring in all the guests that we bring in, you can't do it without volunteers. So let's give all of them a big round of applause, if you don't mind. Led by Debbie Wyman. It's a great group. It makes it fun to do what we do. It's a great community. Coach, it's all about, culture, community, working together to be the best. We do the same thing. Let me say, everybody asked me, I'm on Feinbaum last week. I love it. I'm on Feinbaum last week, and Feinbaum said it's the best sports club in America. It's Paul Feinbaum. He just decided to say it's the best sports club in America. I mean, that represents, and that's because of all of us in here. It's because of our volunteers, our sponsors, and I hope you take pride in that. So, all right, it's time for our All-Arkansas Preps Player of the Week, another outstanding player. Let's give it up for State Representative R.J. Hawk.
Thank you, David. Last week we talked about how great our student athletes in the state are, and this once again shows the level of talent that we have in the state. And our student athlete this week comes from Hamburg, Arkansas, Nikel Lewis. So 2 weeks ago against Monticello, they won that game 55-20. He ran the ball 32 times for 357 yards and 6 touchdowns. Now, Coach, I know you can't recruit at these things, but you just need to listen, okay? So this past week against Central, that was a pretty good number. He ran it 22 times for 254 yards and 4 touchdowns. And he also wanted me to say that he also had a receiving touchdown in that ball game as well. Last week against Central, his yards per carry were 14 yards per carry last week against Central. Now, those are great numbers between those 2 weeks. On the season in 5 games, 110 carries, 1,355 yards and 25 touchdowns with 1 receiving touchdown. A 12.5 yards per carry average for the season so far. His mom Bridget's here, his head coach Blake Johnson's here. He's committed to Austin Peay right now, but hopefully we can get him to stay right here in the state of Arkansas. Your All-Arkansas Preps Player of the Week is Nikel Lewis from Hamburg.
Twelve point 5 yards per carry. That's pretty good, Coach, through 5 games. Good Lord. I don't think you have to throw, do you? You just hand the ball off every time. All right. We had a fun weekend of football, of course, led by the amazing end of the game for Arkansas State. It was nice. I go pretty much just like 7 days a week for 12 weeks during football season because I go to all the Razorback games, home and away, and we have Touchdown Club Sunday, Monday. But I'm so glad, Coach, I was able to click over and see the last few minutes of y'all's game. My gosh, it was one for the ages. Of course, with you coming here, I was obviously happy for you that you pulled the victory, and I'm sure Rex will give the details like nobody else. Give it up, everybody, for Rex Nelson.
Thanks, David. Boy, for sure, what a finish in Jonesboro. Get this. There were 41 points scored in the fourth quarter alone between the two teams. 41. It was Arkansas State 31-30 over Texas State. Now, Coach Jones, I've got a confession to make. I picked Texas State in my online picks I do for the Democrat Gazette every week, but there was a reason for that. My wife, who's sitting out there, is a Texas State graduate. I was very much for Arkansas State, but I did it hoping for domestic bliss. You're a family man. You understand the need for domestic bliss. If mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy, right? So go Red Wolves. We can say it after the fact now. 6 plays in that last drive in 53 seconds. A 4-yard run by quarterback Jalen Rayner with 7 seconds left in the game, and then the winning extra point. And David, they did play defense for 3 quarters. That was 10-10 at the end of the third quarter, that game. Just an amazing finish. I could give you a lot more, but I want Coach to do it. I mean, he was the one on the sideline, so I'm going to save that for him. UCA gets a win. They beat Utah Tech in Conway 23-17. Quarterback Austin Myers, again an Arkansas boy, junior from Bologna, 20 of 31 passing, 223 yards and 1 touchdown. UCA now 2-4 overall, 1-1 in conference. Utah Tech falls to 1-5 and 0-2. Now, in the GAC, get this, it was a good week, David, for college football in Arkansas. Hogs had an open date. That makes for a good week, as you said. But Arkansas teams, Division I and Division II combined, were 8-1 against out-of-state competition this past weekend. 8-1, so congratulations. In the GAC, the Arkansas teams went 6-0 against out-of-state competition. It was number 2 Harding, 65, East Central Oklahoma, nothing. This is an East Central Oklahoma team that came in with a 3-1 record, by the way. And Harding beats them 65-0. They're 5-0. Still ranked number 2 in the country behind only defending national champion Ferris State. Such a small world. That's where Coach Jones played college football, at Ferris State. As you know, Ferris lost its great quarterback to number 4 Ole Miss, who's already in the Heisman talk now. And so I think it may come down to the winner when they meet in the playoffs, Coach, but I think Harding could very well win its second national championship in just 3 years. That was the 13th consecutive time they've beaten East Central. It was their 19th consecutive home win in Searcy. Get this. I've talked about how they run that triple option. They had 16 players carry the football in that game on Saturday night. 16 running backs they used, and they rushed for 475 yards in that game. Ouachita gets back on track. They're 10-0 now against Oklahoma Baptist since the other Baptist school entered the GAC. It was Ouachita 35, Oklahoma Baptist 13. Tigers had 219 yards rushing in that game. Arkansas Tech off to a great start, 4-1 after a 14-10 victory over Southeastern Oklahoma. Southeastern drove late to a first down at the Tech 18, but the Wonder Boy defense got the job done. Coach Roy Thompson, former defensive coordinator at Ouachita, his first year as a head coach, and he's doing great, off to a 4-1 start at Tech. Henderson also 4-1, following a 35-32 victory at Southwestern Oklahoma. Reddy's trailed that game 17-7 at halftime, but they roared back. They've got one of the best quarterbacks in the state, in Andrew Edwards. He was 19 of 26 passing, 198 yards, 2 touchdowns. Southern Arkansas also 4-1. 35-32 at Northwestern Oklahoma. SAU outscored the home team 28-6 in the second half of that game. And UAM wins its second straight. Ain't nothing more evil than that dang boll weevil, as they say down in southeast Arkansas. After starting 0-3, so 2 straight wins for the Weevils. It was UAM 23, Southern Nazarene 9. Tavlon Falk had 149 yards passing for the Boll Weevils. Only loser among the Arkansas teams Saturday, Division I and Division II, was UAPB. Golden Lions lost 51-7 to Texas Southern to fall to 2-3 overall, 1-1 in the SWAC. Now, let's go to the SEC. Dominating that AP poll still. Ole Miss is number 4. Texas A&M is number 5. Oklahoma's number 6. Alabama's number 8. Georgia's number 10. LSU's number 11. Tennessee's number 12. Missouri's number 14. And Vanderbilt's number 20. And through the first Saturday in October, you've still got 4 undefeated teams overall. Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Missouri, Oklahoma, all 5-0. Alabama beats Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt gave it a heck of an effort, though. 30-14 as Bama pulls away at the end. Ty Simpson threw for 340 yards and 2 TDs for the Tide. Texas A&M 31-9 over Mississippi State. Aggies are 5-0 for the first time since 2016. And how about Florida 29, Texas 21? I know there's no love lost for Texas for most of you here. Texas went to Gainesville for the first time since 1940 and drowned in the swamp. Arch Manning threw 2 interceptions. Manning was sacked 7 times in that football game. He was not getting any protection whatsoever. Georgia bounces back from its loss to Alabama. They beat Kentucky 35-14. That's the 16th straight in the series Georgia's won. They've not lost to Kentucky in football since 2009. So this week, Arkansas at Tennessee. Bobby Petrino's first game as interim head coach. So now he's been head coach, defensive coordinator, and then interim head coach after that. Wonder if that's ever happened in another program anywhere. All right, Alabama at Missouri, Oklahoma and Texas at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Florida at Texas A&M, Georgia at Auburn, and South Carolina at LSU. So 6 good conference games this weekend. Now, here in the state, you've got a few games. Homecoming at UAPB, always a big day in Pine Bluff. Westgate Christian at UAPB. That drove me to the internet yesterday. Best I could figure from Westgate Christian after a lot of searching, it is a tiny Bible college in Houston. It's in its 4th year. At the start of last year, I didn't have any figures for this year, the total enrollment of the school was 85 students. That's not the football program, that's the school's total enrollment. This is their 2nd year of football. They gave up more than 90 points to one of their opponents last year. So let's say it will be a fun homecoming party in Pine Bluff on Saturday night. We've also got Southwestern Oklahoma at SAU. We've got Northwestern Oklahoma at Henderson, and in Division III, Austin College at Hendricks. So games in Pine Bluff, Magnolia, Arkadelphia, and Conway. Not as many as usual, but that's still 4, David, and you know what that means. No excuses. Get out and see a college football game on Saturday, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, Rex. Appreciate you. A couple things. First of all, where's Greg? I accidentally married off Maddie before she's been married off. So my apologies to her. You've got one more that has not been married. You've got to go. My apologies there. So I'm sure I'll catch grief from her for doing that. So my bad there. Also, Alicia from JF Media and Marketing made the point, Coach, your comments last year about Nick Saban, it was the speech about nothing. And I think you bridged that, and that got almost 500,000 views from you just referencing that. So it's amazing what we do, and thanks to them, we can put that out, kind of stuff out there, and they get that kind of views. And we put out there, we launched it last week, we put out about John Gruden's comments when he was here about 5 years ago, and he said, I would get you on probation if I was coaching a few years ago, like in 6 days. Now that there's a bank, Simmons Bank with $28 billion, I'd be glad to take the Arkansas job. That's got like 1 million views already. So anyways, the crazy social media. I do want to recognize some special guests here in the crowd, obviously representing Arkansas State. I've already mentioned Jacob Steele and Lane Hatcher. Tim Langford, I thought he would be here today. He is not here. Shane Broadway was here earlier. He's gone through heart surgery. He's looking good. Great to see Shane. He needs to slow down. Shane, you need to slow down. You need to slow down. I'm just telling you, you need to slow down. Great to see him. And so at this time, I'd like to just hold your applause. Let's recognize the members of the Arkansas State Board of Trustees, Chairman Steve Eddington, Carol Farmer, Price Gardner, Bishop Robert Rudolph. Please stand if you don't mind. Paul Roughton, Gary Harpole. Let's please recognize our this amazing board. Appreciate them. Steve, good to see you. Arkansas State Three Rivers. Paul got mad at me during the Arkansas State-Arkansas game. I was at, we were at Edwards Food Giant, and the youngest Edwards was a graduate of Arkansas, and so they found out, and Chancellor Robinson from Arkansas said, I want to come on. So I said, sure. And I heard from, I heard from all, from Price, everybody, what are you doing? Where's our equal time? I will promise you equal time whenever you want it is coming. That was my bad. So great to have the Board of Trustees here today. Also, I want to welcome the President of the Arkansas State System, Dr. Brendan Kelly. Let's give him a round of applause, please. And the Chancellor of Arkansas State, a great guy, and also the daughter of an amazing woman who was a Miss America, Miss Arkansas, Savvy Shields, Dr. Todd Shields. Let's give it up for Dr. Todd Shields. want to mention Jeff Hankins is here, Landon Crancer, Megan Gross, Jeff Eberhardt, special assistant to the head coach, Jerry Scott. Where's Jerry? Where's Jerry? Jerry, how many years you been doing this? 20. Let's give a round of applause to Jerry Scott, one of the best in the business doing it. Jeff Reed, where's Jeff at? Where's Jeff at? Is he here? Jeff has been covering Arkansas State athletics for 35 years. And so let's give him a round of applause. And I just see my man over here, Randy Rainwater. I didn't know Randy was here today. Always great to have you here, Randy, one of the legendary guys in radio. Coach, this guy's been around since the 80s doing sports radio in Arkansas. He's a Hall of Famer. Let's give it up for Randy Rainwater, everybody. All right, one of the things that Sully, I love when Steve Sullivan at Channel 7 goes back and finds these old clips from you, Coach, as we all like to look back in our younger days. And he's always found the great clips of you when you were younger and your coaching success and your coaching history. Let's take a look at this introduction from Steve Sullivan, and then we'll bring up Coach.
Butch Jones' first head coaching job came 17 years after he graduated from Ferris State. At Central Michigan, he became only the 9th coach in Mid-American history to win the league championship in his first season. His 3-year league record was 20-3. From there, it was on to Cincinnati, where his teams tied for Big East titles in back-to-back seasons. His Bearcats recorded 19 wins in his last 2 seasons. Butch Jones took over the Tennessee job in 2013.
Did you feel your arms go dead? Did you feel your arms go dead? You got to pump and pull, pump and pull.
In year 2, with the youngest roster in FBS, he led the Vols to their first bowl game since 2010. That was followed by back-to-back 9-win seasons. He's led A-State to back-to-back bowl appearances, and last season he became one of just 3 FBS coaches to lead 4 different programs to multiple bowl games. And the 8 victories last season, 3rd highest total in A-State's 33 years as an FBS member. Please welcome A-State head coach Butch Jones.
Thank you. First of all, I always look forward to this time of year. I joke with David, you know, I wish we could speak here every week because every time we speak, we have a big win. So we're trying to get on that docket every week. But, you know, this is a relationship with the Little Rock Touchdown Club that goes back many, many years since our days at Tennessee, and being able to come here and spend you know, a great afternoon with y'all. So I have the distinction, I know David is known around the country by everyone, but I am the only coach who got the opportunity to celebrate his 60th birthday with him. So that's one of those moments in time that you put on your bucket list that can never be taken from you. And to our board of trustees and, you know, President Kelly and everything that you do, and Todd Shields and Chris Pesman and everything. We have something very special in Jonesboro. And, you know, when you really look back at this past week's game, it's really a microcosm of college football. It's really a microcosm of our season. And I think oftentimes your immediate identity is really affected by your current circumstance. And whether it's wins or losses, whether it's players' availability, and it's really how you handle your business. It's about how you go about your day-to-day and, you know, the humility that's involved. Football is the most humbling game there is, and we live in a week-to-week season. And, you know, in our position as coaches, love is conditional. And like they always say, win or win, coach, we're with you. And, you know, so there's a lot that goes into it, but you have to continue to stay the course. And, you know, right now we're kind of, again, a microcosm of the new age of college football. We have 70 newcomers. And so, and more than half of those just arrived on campus in June. So, you know, it's staying the course. It's being true to who you are. It's not flinching when things don't go your way. And a lot of times, you know, staying the course, it's understanding and being real with yourself and your schedule and how it lies. And before I get into that, I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you, Little Rock. The game here in War Memorial obviously did not have the outcome that we wanted, But I will tell you what, for the entire state of Arkansas to come together in our state capital in that environment, no other state of the union has ever experienced that. And why would we take that away? Why would we not? You know, when we talk about collegiate athletics, it's more than just one institution or the other institution. It's about how can we make the game better? How can we make the state of Arkansas better? What it does for high school football, for the two Division I institutions to come together to play in the state capitol. That environment, that experience, you know, Friday night going to the governor's mansion, and just the camaraderie between the two institutions, and then the fan bases coming together. That's what's missing in today's world of realignment with college football, the transfer portal, all those things. And for the state of Arkansas to be different and say we're taking a stance, this is about the betterment of our state, the economic value that it brought to our state capital. You know, all those little things, I can't thank you enough, because even though the outcome was disappointing, that environment, what it meant to our program, everything was monumental, and I hope that we can recreate that at some point in time as we move forward. But, you know, going into last week, we have a lot of individual meetings, and, you know, I talked to our team about, you know, why would you let circumstances or outcomes dictate how you feel? Like, really, if you think about it, why would you let circumstances dictate, bully you in your mind? And then I asked every player individually, our players did, and I asked our team collectively, why do you play football? Like, really, take your headphones off, put your cell phone down, and really, why do you play football? And as a coach, you're hoping to hear, well, I love to dominate my opponent. I love to impose my will on another person. I love to play for the collective. I love to play for the university that I represent. I love to win. I love to compete. And as a coach, that's kind of what you're looking at. But in today's world, there's a lot of different things that go into that. So we really spoke about that as a football team. And then I followed up that question the next day in a staff meeting is, why do you coach? Like, it's so hard today. And, you know, your reputation, your immediate identity is based on your immediate results. We live in a result-oriented world. So my reputation of who I am is based on 12 weeks out of the year. 12 weeks out of the year, I'm either a great person or I'm a bad person. And that's kind of what we choose. But why do you coach? And the same thing, you know, we coach to make an impact. The definition of coaching is creating change. But along the same line too, we coach to win. We're competitors. That's why we do what we do. We're in a result-oriented business. So it's also about winning. It's just like being in business. If you don't win, you're not going to be in business very much. So all those things of competitive character, and I think what was revealed on Saturday is the competitive character of our football team. And I've never been in, the closest game I've been into that was the Hail Mary game at the University of Georgia, when we went from winning the game to losing the game to winning the game in a matter of about 12 seconds. And that's the closest. But I will tell you, it is the first time in my career that I've had to call the play called give up. And that was when we let them score at the end of the game. And I'm going to tell you, at the core of who I am, that was the hardest call I ever had to make, because I wanted to say, okay, we're going to knock the ball off them. We're going to use our 2 timeouts wisely, and we're going to come up with a stop. And so to be able to say give up and let them score, that was kind of, it hurt me at the core. But you know, you talk about managing a game, and I joke, so we have a tremendous supporter named Ted Hergert back in Jonesboro. Well, Ted's trying to create fan support, you know, in our loge boxes and kind of get them so they stand up, they understand how to cheer. So what Ted has done is we have this red brick wall that separates the end zone from the stands. Well, he's got a new tradition. He lines it with beer cans. And Ted had 225 silver Bud Light beer cans. And I called him today and I said, you know why that kid missed that extra point? I said, damn it, Ted, he was blinded by all those beer cans, and the ball kind of gravitated to the beer cans, and it kind of floated that way. So he created a great home field advantage for us. But, you know, when you look at staying the course, not letting outcomes dictate how you feel, and there are so many things. I've never been in a game where we came down to our third center. And, you know, it's funny the way fans are. So we're, 14-point underdogs? We're 14-point underdogs. This is a team that's really talented. This, arguably, you're going to think I'm crazy, this may be the best overall team we've played all year. And we've played some really good football teams. And, you know, we're going in, and we have an opportunity to go in at halftime at 10-10. We just lost our second-string center, and we're down on our third-string center, so we elect their pooch kicking. So it's all about managing a game. We get the ball to start the second half. So I don't want anything, you know, I'm trying to keep the game alive so we don't put back a punt returner, so we don't botch a pooch kick, and then we take a knee and the fans boo. And I'm like, damn, we're 10-10. We have a third string center who hasn't snapped a ball in a regular season game for Arkansas State. And we're going in 10-10. And I understand, I get it, that's all part of it. But, you know, that gave us an opportunity to win, and then we go into the fourth quarter. But, you know, we had our two best defensive tackles miss the third quarter because they were in the training room getting IVs. So many storylines that go into it, and our kids believed that we were going to win the football game. And I told them, in order to beat this football team, we had to win the intangible battle. And what's the intangibles? It's your style of play. It's your effort. It's your will to win. Our will to win has to be greater than their will to win. Our toughness, play in and play out, it has to be greater than theirs. Because even though football is the greatest team game, it still comes down to one-on-one matchups. And, you know, when Rex gets up here and he talks about the games, and you say, well, how can this team beat this team but then lose to this team? Football is a game of matchups. And everything is how your team is built. And there's a lot of teams, you know, you don't match up with some teams just because of their style of play, whether it's their offense, whether it's a running quarterback, whether it's where your weaknesses are and your strengths, you know, so that comes into where you see the inconsistencies in college football. And today it's all about how you match up week to week with your opponent. And there's some teams you match up better than others. So that's really the big difference. But for us to do what we've been able to do, and it was a great day because we honored our 75 national championship team as well. It was a Hall of Fame weekend. So to be able to welcome those individuals back and to have that kind of effort. So most programs, every player on your team wears a GPS system now, and it's a tracking device. Now, with budgets, we only have 25 players on our GPS system. Most programs have every single one, but it's for sports science. So we can measure their movements, the velocity of their movements, their speed levels. So like out of those 25 individuals, I know that during the course of a week, they have to maintain every practice. They have to hit 90% of their threshold of their speed, or they're going to lose their speed. So the other thing it measures is really your effort, your violence, and your movements. And so usually a measuring stick, usually for a game, is that parameter or number is usually between 500, maybe 550. If somebody's really going, maybe 600. Every player on our defense in this game was over 650. And a lot of them were in the 700s. And as long as I've been doing this, I've never had the volume of that. We had individuals that ran over 22 miles an hour. And this is coming off of 6 straight weeks of playing and no bye week. And so the effort, the will to win, and finally, and Jacob Still will tell you, we want to be different than anybody in the country. And that's in our culture, that's in our style of play, that's in our love and affinity for Arkansas State, this state, what we represent on a daily basis. And that's why we've won everywhere we've been. And we will continue to win. But sometimes it takes time, 70 newcomers. You know, when you're asking them to give the effort that we expect, the toughness that we expect, they're looking at you like you're crazy. And so we've had to show them video clips of other teams doing it and what it looks like. And for the first time all season, from a consistency basis, we now have video clips. When we get back together in Jonesboro, we'll have a team meeting this afternoon, and we'll show them clips of them making that come to life. And that's what makes us different. In today's world of college football, being a head coach is so different than when it was just really 5-6 years ago, in terms of rev share, in terms of managing personalities, managing the transfer portal. I want you to think about this, and David and I, have talked about this briefly, but he's proud of Arkansas, okay? All y'all have an alma mater. You're proud of where you went to school. Well, in today's transfer portal, these kids don't have an alma mater. And I'm sitting there and I'm at the Hall of Fame banquet, and I went back and I talked to our team about leaving a legacy. Do you ever dream about, being in the Hall of Fame? Do you ever dream about being in the Hall of Honor? And what the transfer portal has done is it's minimized that, and I was talking to a top handler in Miami, and he said to me today, he goes, a lot of these transfers are like nomads. And I said, nomads, what does that mean? He said, they really don't have a home. They walk around with their heads down, and they have nowhere to call home, and they come in your program and they zap you of your energy. And, that's where we have to find the right fit for Arkansas State. So the recruiting departments, Hunter talked about it in his press conference with Bobby a couple weeks ago, about the importance of assembling a recruiting department and the advanced scouting and all that goes into. So being a head coach is more than just your players. It's running your organization. It's your setup. And that's where, as great as Nick Saban was, that's probably where that individual was remarkable. And the great thing is I helped him redefine our recruiting department at Alabama. Shoot, we hired half our staff from Tennessee is at Alabama now, running their recruiting department, in the setup and all that goes into building a real football organization. Those are the things that maybe behind the scenes that nobody sees that make the difference in winning and losing, and all those little things that come down to it. So before Dave and I get after it a little bit, I wanted to share with you, and then I'll be brief and then we'll move forward, is when you play on national television, there isn't another Sun Belt school, and I don't know if there's been a group of 6 school in the United States of America that in their 2 home games, they've had 2 nationally televised broadcasts. That's probably about a $4 million commercial each time. That's about $8 million that Jonesboro, our Chamber of Commerce, everybody that supports us, our fan base, our football program has been on national display. When you look at Iowa State, and then you look at the Texas State game, and then we'll have one more against Louisiana. That doesn't happen by chance. That doesn't happen by chance. And so, I think we've been able to take advantage of that and moving forward. But when these national broadcasts come in, every Friday they'll come in and you meet with the broadcast crew. And they really ask some in-depth questions, and they ask some soul-searching questions. And, the one guy asked in my office, said, Coach, why have you stayed here? You've had many opportunities to leave. Why do you continue to stay at Arkansas State? And I talked about, been there, done that. It's about the people that you want to surround yourself with on a daily basis. It's having an administration that has a vision for what you want to do, because a lot of things as a head coach now, head coaches are control freaks. It's out of your control. It comes down to who has the most revenue share money. Does it guarantee you that you're going to win? No, but it gives you the greatest opportunity to win. So when you look at non-conference scheduling, the hardest thing is at the group of 6 level, because you're at least going to have, you're going to compete but 2 losses. So you have a fan base that doesn't understand that. They just look at wins and losses. They don't understand the level of competition you're playing. I always said it. You look at the turnaround at Indiana football, the guy who runs recruiting's been with me ever since I was at Tennessee, and he was with us at Arkansas State. You look at their non-conference scheduling. What does that do? That breeds confidence in a football team. You look at their commitment to winning with their revenue share. You look at the total commitment, and that's how you can turn programs around very, very quickly. So there's a lot that goes into that. So why do I stay at Arkansas State? It starts with, it starts with the top down, from the system office to our chancellor to Chris Pesman. Everybody that we have, we share the same vision of what we want. We may not like where we're at right now, but we have a vision to where we want to grow and continue to grow this and continue to work to be the best Group of 6 football program and athletics department university in the country. You get to share a vision. I think the other thing is family. I have a unique opportunity every day, and when you talk about coaches that invested in their schools, there's no other coach that has invested in Arkansas State University than the Jones family. And so if you go back in time, when I went to the University of Alabama, so my oldest son played for me at Tennessee, and he had a heart condition. He was born with a bicuspid heart valve. He was going to be our starting holder at Tennessee. Incredible eye-hand coordination. And the doctors at Tennessee pulled me aside and they said, "Coach, it's not worth it. If your son takes one catastrophic blow, it's going to end his life. It's not worth it." So he went right into coaching. And so he started coaching. And so when I went to the University of Alabama, my wife was very ingrained in the Knoxville community. She still is. They have her back about once a month. And so my youngest son and her stayed in Knoxville. And so while that's going on, my middle son had graduated from Knoxville Catholic, and he went on to Central Michigan. He plays receiver. So he was a freshman at Central Michigan, and my oldest son, Alex, who I spoke about, went with me to the University of Alabama, and he was a quality control member there. And my biggest, proudest dad moment was we're at the University of Alabama, and we're in the middle of practice, and the guy who was a head coach wore the straw hat, and I hear, we're in the middle, we're in the indoor. So the field is split up, and I hear Coach Saban just going off. He is berating somebody, and at times he takes the straw hat off and he throws it to the ground. And I'm like, ooh, what the hell's going on over there? And I look, and he's cussing my son out. It was the greatest dad moment I ever had. I'm like, yes, he just got in an indoctrination into very hard coaching. And he had the hardest job in the building. He was responsible for the scout team wide receivers. So every split had to be exact. Every route depth had to be exact. Every route combination. So he got a real indoctrination into hard coaching. So he was there with me. So we had my youngest in Knoxville, my middle son in Mount Pleasant at Central Michigan, and my oldest with me in Tuscaloosa. So we were in Alabama for 3 years. So our entire family was displaced. So my wife would take her turn of going to Mount Pleasant for their games and then driving to Tuscaloosa for our games. So when I came to Arkansas State, it was an opportunity for our family to get back together. So where am I going with this? Well, when we came here, Alex came to Arkansas State. He now is our tight end coach. My middle son transferred from Central Michigan to Arkansas State. And my middle son went to Valley View High School. So when you fast forward where we at now, my oldest is our tight end coach. My middle son has a degree from Arkansas State. He finished up playing. I had a hard dad moment last year because he had probably the second best pro day performance of any of our players. And he had some NFL player teams calling him and wanting him to do your weekend tryout. And at that point in time, the University of Michigan calls him and offers him a job in recruiting with the running backs. And he did that all on his own. I had no influence on him getting the job at Michigan. So I had to call him out on the patio and have one of those dad moments of, you had a great career at Arkansas State. Yeah, you can go take an NFL tryout, but I have to be honest with you, you're not an NFL player. You need to decide what you want to do with your life. Your football days are over with, and you have to decide if you want to go to the University of Michigan. You're going to have to start from ground zero, boom, boom. So long story short, he goes to the University of Michigan, and he works in the recruiting department, and he oversees the running backs. So he's in charge of the running back recruiting. And then my oldest son graduated from Valley View, and he's a receiver. So my point is this, our entire family are Arkansas State people. and a lot of things that people don't understand. So my oldest son, Alex, that time came in March. He had to have major open heart surgery. Try that as a dad. We're at Cincinnati Children's Hospital, and the surgery lasts for 10 hours. And they had to basically rebuild his heart. And, you sit there, and every hour and a half, they come in and give you an update. And all you do is stare at the clock. So he makes it, obviously. He's doing good. He coaches our tight end. So after the Kennesaw game, he had his 6-month checkup in Cincinnati. And he did not want to go. He wanted to put it off. And Joe Slayton was very kind to lend his plane to us so he could go, because there's no direct flights to Cincinnati. It becomes a day and a half, and we had to prepare for football. And I get the call, and the visit did not go well. So his valve is not working. It's leaking. So now he has to go back and get cut open again and have a mechanical valve put in at 28 years old. And so the only thing he worried about is he kept saying to his mom, Dad's going to fire me. I got to get back to work. I got to get back to work. And he's not missed one day. So if you keep him in his thoughts and prayers, this 16th, after our South Alabama game, he's got to go back to Cincinnati, and then he'll go back again on the 20th. And then they'll decide the timing to put the mechanical valve in. So when we're going through the losses at Kennesaw and the losses at Monroe, it kind of puts things into perspective of what's really important. And, football's our life. It's not our hobby. My family lives and dies. It's like my phone is blown up coming here, and it's my wife. She went through all your social media, and she's like, energy. You can't be monotone. You got to go in there and you got to be you. I'm going to watch it and I'm going to evaluate you. So she's probably watching right now on PBS, or she'll watch. So again, but that's kind of the Jones family. It's become kind of an Arkansas State family. And I'm excited to see where our team goes. I told our team before the game, I said, we're going to win the game and we're going to rebuild our football team. This is where our team starts. This is where we begin right now. This is a new beginning. And so we'll see. We'll see if we can replicate what we did on Saturday with our effort, our intangibles. The Sun Belt Conference is a mini SEC. I was in the SEC for 9 years. I love that conference. I love what it brings about. I love the scrutiny. I love every day being 4th and 1. I think I kind of like, Jacob will tell you, I kind of like adversity and I kind of like challenges. And that's what the Sun Belt has turned into. Every institution has made a commitment through revenue share. Every institution has made a commitment through facilities. So it's a great challenge, but hope I didn't bore you. But again, I appreciate all that you do and showing up and all the A-State support that you continue to bring. So I don't know if you have any questions.
I'm going to ask one question, Coach, before we let you go. So we had a Hunter Yurchek here a few weeks ago, and it was he made a couple of statements that got a lot of attention. And the fact that you've got your board of trustees here, you got your chairman, Steve Eddington, everybody here. Money is such a big part of this game now. So I'd asked Hunter Yurchek, where is the U of A in terms of money? From a Sun Belt program, fighting against other programs, NIL, transfer portal, where is Arkansas State, what you feel, where it comes to money to be able to compete and be the best in the league? And even beyond the league?
Well, I'll tell you this, we're not where we need to be, but we have a vision with Dr. Shields, with Chris Pesman. We have a vision of where we need to be, and we have a plan of where we need to be. And it's one thing to have a vision, but how are you going to execute that plan? How are you going to make that come to life? And both those two individuals have a plan of where we need to go, but more importantly, how we are going to get there. I mean, there's so many things that are going on our campus, like an entertainment district. That changes everything. That's a vision because it affects recruiting. It affects when you bring kids on campus. It affects your fan base. It affects student life. It affects all that. Our enrollment is at an all-time high right now. So I'm excited, and that's why I stay there, because of the leadership, because they do have a vision. We're not where we need to be. You know, everyone looks like at Monroe. We're on the same par as Monroe. And so we're chasing the Louisianas, you know, we're chasing the schools like that to get where we need to be. But it's not just at our conference, it's the AAC institutions. You know, we have more of what we call a recruiting conference. We're not just recruiting against our peer institutions in the Sun Belt, it's the American Conference. You know, it's you know, all those different schools that we compete against. You know, it's the same thing. You know, Arkansas has to go into the state of Texas. So look at all the different institutions you're fighting there. And again, it's not just all about money, but it does make a difference. And Coach Saban used to always say when they tell you, well, it's really not about the money, but how much? That's kind of how it is.
I do want to say, Chris Pesman, thanks so much for being here. He's a West Coast guy. Great to have him here in the state of Arkansas. Let's give it up for Butch Jones, everybody. Good job, Coach.
Thank you. What's up?